pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is to approve the agenda. Can I get a motion? Rob, second. Katie, any discussion or questions? Okay to vote. All in favor? 6-0 approved. Mr. Poole, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everyone. Just a few notes. This week and last week we were very busy with open houses in the school district. I want to thank all of our parents for coming out for those important meetings and thank our administration and teachers for planning and preparing for those meetings. It's really important, that kind of collaboration and gaining understanding of what happens in school with our students. Talking to parents is really important, so thank you to everyone. I know the high school's open house is coming up on Thursday evening. Just prior to this evening's meeting, we conducted a building walkthrough of the high school. I just have to say thank you again to the community for their support of the 2015 bond renewal project. Really exciting to see the work that's happened in the high school. And building walkthroughs are a way of identifying work that's done well and looking for projects that we want to do in the future to maintain our spaces and great facilities, all the work that's happened over the last few years. Got to give a shout out to the Wildcat teams this fall. Every team but one has a winning record this season so far. They have a combined record of 25-12. Two of our teams are undefeated. So amazing athletic season underway. I look forward to their progress towards the playoffs this fall. So go Wildcats. I'd like to remind parents and the community that our extracurricular club programs are in all of our buildings. We have approximately 50 clubs in the school district. So every student should be looking with their parents at what are the opportunities that I could avail myself of. They are rich and diverse. And if you are interested in participating in any of those clubs, I would recommend reaching out to your building administration to find out what they are and how to get involved in those clubs. I know tonight I see some representatives of WHAM here this evening. I know at one of our past meetings they donated to the school district and to teachers some really cool, innovative arts and music grants. I know they're here tonight to award another grant to the school district. This evening on the agenda is an award of a professional development contract for Discovery Education. We have had as a district goal some work on engaging students in the 21st century. This Discovery Education contract is going to help us do that. Some of that work is going to include productive group work strategies along with virtual field trips, multimodal resources. It's an exciting day with a keynote speaker and several breakout sessions for staff. And finally this evening, there's a presentation on safety and security that will be done by myself. This is of the utmost importance to the school district, so looking forward to updating our practices for safety and security. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next up is opportunity for board members. Mr. Sheridan.
Thank you. So I did want to give an update to the community and to the board. Had my first opportunity to go to the curriculum committee this week. So I attended along with Ms. Katie Anderson and Ms. Megan Tempenhart. It was a great discussion. I want to thank Mr. Meinster for obviously being the chair and obviously Mr. Poole. A few things that we did. We discussed the strategic plan, and if the residents haven't had an opportunity, it was a good reminder for all of us about what the importance of that is. It's on our website. So if you get an opportunity, I'd ask you to go visit and look at our strategic plan. It was a good review, good session to do that with. I did want to also, just for me, from a personal standpoint, it was great to be a part of a team. We had, community members, administration, principals, teachers. It was nice to see everyone getting together and really acting as a team. We worked on a collaborative exercise about what goals we saw for the school year and for our children. That went really well, and it was good to see everyone's conversation and the dialogue around it. So that's kind of what I want to report on that. And then secondly, I did want to talk and thank Mr. Stork and Mr. Caskey. I had the opportunity of attending the parent-guardian presentation for the AP capstone, which is 2 parts, the seminar and the research. So it was really great to see and learn more about that class and how the students are learning and what skills they'll pick up toward college and in life. So,
Great. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next up, statements from residents.
Chloe McNamara.
I actually have a copy. I don't know who to give this to.
Chloe, you can go up to the podium if you want.
Thank you.
If she needs
Do we have a statement?
No, I just, I need this copy. Just-
Hi, Janice. How are you? Good.
Thank you, Janice.
Good, thank you.
Hi. Ooh. My name is Chloe McNamara, and I am a Girl Scout of Troop 3137. And I am towards the end of my career as a Girl Scout, and at the end of my career, I need to do a Gold Award project. And for my Gold Award project, I would like to create a memorial garden for Melissa Marchese. And the reason why I'm here is because I would like to have my garden at the school on the or near the softball field off of the pathway that's going to be created around the softball field. I wanted to have it here because Melissa was so passionate about softball, and I thought that it would be very beautiful to be able to honor her memory near the field where she would play. I also wanted to have it here because I wanted it to be accessible for students if they ever needed a break or if they needed comfort and they needed to remember Melissa and all the other people that we have lost in the community. However, I need to have the location of my Gold Award project approved by the board before I can move forward in the project.
So I just have 1 or 2 questions. Can you explain your vision for the garden as far as you envision benches?
Yeah, I was actually going to build a bench, and I was going to have it surrounded by flowers. And I know that the McGivneys had money donated, and they were thinking about possibly buying maybe a rock or something along those lines, and that would also be in the garden.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Are you, is it a location and the type of plants where you're thinking it needs irrigation or I'm trying to picture like what kind of flowers and plants you're thinking of? Will it just need to, will it grow on its own or people need to tend to it and weed it?
Well, we haven't exactly planned out everything because we're still in the beginning stages of the project, but kind of the vision is to have it be relatively low maintenance, but it will still need to, be watered because we want the garden to thrive.
Okay, thank you. Sounds like a lovely idea.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You want to
Just
the process?
So,
Oh, yeah. the process.
Chloe, it was wonderful to meet with you and hear about your project earlier this year. The next step in the process would be a resolution from the Board of Education that would be on the agenda for the next meeting to consider your project for approval. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is student and staff recognitions, SWR high school presentation. Mr. Pugliese.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to take a couple seconds to thank the entire district office staff and the Board of Education for their constant support for Shoreham-Wading River High School. We certainly hope that you enjoyed the walkthrough earlier tonight. The 2018-2019 school year saw our students and staff continue to excel in academics, fine and applied arts, and in athletics. Student success was recognized at national, state, and local levels. A New York State recognition school, ranked as one of America's best high schools in U.S. News and World Reports. recognized by College Board as an AP Capstone Diploma School for Outstanding Student Scholarship, and we are anticipating a rather large announcement coming on Thursday that will recognize SWR at the national level as well. 2 students were acknowledged earlier today for achieving commended status in the National Merit Scholarship Program. They will be formally recognized at a future meeting. These are just a few examples of what we're achieving here at SWR. And also, as mentioned earlier, our fall athletic teams are off to great starts, and we are all very proud to cheer them on. All of these accomplishments and so many more are due in no small part to the environment created here at SWR. Having just completed my second year, I am so impressed with the extensive updates to the physical core of our building. Students and staff have had many positive things to say about the parking lot upgrades, the cafeteria. Students are impressed with the new layout. They're really enjoying the air conditioning down there as well. The updates continue in the auditorium, and I certainly can't wait to hear and see the differences when the fall musical takes the stage in early November. All of the second floor learning spaces received a fresh coat of paint throughout, and they look amazing. A special thank you to district custodial and maintenance crews, along with our amazing clerical team, for putting the pieces back together in a very short period of time after the major work was completed. A big thank you also certainly needs to go out to the kitchen staff for getting that back up and running in a very short period of time. And last but certainly not least, our amazing security team. We have a lot to focus on during the course of the school day, and it's really incredible to be able to, isolate that off to the side and know that it's being taken care of as amazingly well as it is. So certainly thank you to them. Once again, thank you to the board and to district office for always putting the needs of our students and staff first in everything. And I really can't wait to see what we accomplish this year. So thank you again for everything.
Thank you. Next up is the Wildcats Helping Arts and Music donation. Ms. Tingo and Ms. Scrasso.
Hi, my name is Stacy Tingo. I'm president of Wildcats Helping the Arts and Music. I want to thank everyone for supporting us, because in this first year we've done much more than anticipated. Firstly, we gave scholarships, had a fine arts banquet, and lastly, we were able to award 4 mini grants in our first year. So I want to thank the board for approving the first 3 back in August. But we asked the teachers to come here this evening so we could give them an award. Not all of them have shown up, but that's fine. They'll get the award anyway. So first, I want to thank you for approving the one that was awarded to Ashley O'Connor in the high school, and that's Electrifying Your Strings. And I'm so happy to announce that they've scheduled the date for February 4th and 5th. It's the first time that this program is coming through the district, and all of the orchestras from grade 5 to 12 are coming together. So I can't wait to see this unified production. So thank you so much for approving this. So this will go to Ashley. Thank you, Ashley.
That sounds great.
Next, the next mini grant is to Miss Kaylin, and that was for creating a library makerspace program. That's kind of culminating technology and art together. So that's something new. I understand they have some of the technology here, but what a better way to introduce it in middle school so it will kind of, grow with the students. So thank you, Ms. Kaylin. Then we have coding in the music room program with Ms. Kara Brown at Miller Avenue. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see how this is going to play. So thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate Mr. Poole getting it out to all the principals, and we're happy that we had gotten 7 or 8 grant applications filled out. Hopefully, that will double, as will our award next year with the continued support that we have. So here is a great thing about the next mini grant that we have. It started with an initial mini grant from another program on behalf of Cali. So that mini grant was given to, I believe, North Shore Youth Council, and it was to start this ukulele club. So I want to just bring in someone that is part of that program and how it's going to continue forward. And I'd like to thank Mr. Verity for wanting to bring this to the Wading River students. So tonight we have 4 ukuleles that we would hope that you accept on behalf of the district and add it to your inventory list. So this is Mr. Eric Gooley, who was part of the initial grant that was issued on behalf of Cali. And he would like to give a little demonstration in case someone does not know what the ukulele sounds like.
All right. Well, I was going to use mine, but they brought the ones that we got. So it's they're pretty nice. They're better than the normal quality, like the normal ones that are donated places. So this is really quite a treat. But I got a little song prepared for you. This is the 59th Street Bridge song, also known as Feeling Groovy. Slow down, you're going too fast. Gotta make the morning last. You're just kicking down the cobblestone, knocking for fun and feeling groovy. Da 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 da, feeling groovy. Hello, lamppost, how'd you knowin'? Gotta make the flowers growin', looking fine and feeling good. Do 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 do, feeling groovy. Da 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 da, feeling groovy. I got no deeds to do, no problems to keep. I'm dabbled and drowsy and ready to sleep when the morning kind drops all its petals on me. Life, I love you, all is groovy. And da 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 da, feeling groovy. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
No problem.
That was awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stacy and Colette.
I just want to say thank you for accepting the gift from us, because I'm just going to brag for a second. When Mr. Verity had put in the proposal, he initially had asked for only 2 ukuleles. And in reviewing it, we thought the pricing was a little expensive. So we did a little research, and thanks to the relationship that WHAM has with Family Melody, they were able to obtain, at the same price, we were able to get 4. And when we reached out to Mr. Verity, I said, if I'm hearing you correctly, this vision, you're going to use it in your classrooms. Wouldn't 4 be better than 2? And of course he said yes. So then I emailed Mr. Meister, and we had a little bit of back and forth, but I just want to say I really appreciate that you will accept all 4 ukuleles from us, because this is a wonderful program, and 4 is better than 2, let's face it. So thank you.
What building is that going to be used for?
Wading River?
Wading River, okay. That's the 3-5 building, great. Okay. Next up is reports and reviews. Safety and security update, Mr. Poole. Thank you.
Thanks, Connor.
Okay.
Got a kick out of that.
That was good.
So We've made this an annual presentation to the Board of Education and the public on safety and security on a school district. This is just not a catchphrase. It is of the utmost importance for all of us who work in a school district, the safety and security of our students, our staff, our visitors, and all of us. So it is important to review what we've shared with you before to gain an understanding of some of the practices in the school district. Before I start, it's not in the presentation, I just wanted to make a note to the Board of Education about our relationship with local law enforcement and emergency responders. We have a fantastic relationship with the Suffolk County Police Department. Just this past week, the new Lieutenant Highland reached out to the school district to arrange a meeting to discuss the school district, our needs, any concerns, our practices with a couple of the school resource officers. Their response to any questions or support that we need from them is always immediate, so they are wonderful partners. That goes along as well with the Riverhead Police Department that Wading River School is in the catchment area of. Both of those law enforcement offices last year made a pledge to have more of a visible presence in the school district, so you may still see their cars around the school district in the parking lot. They may sit there to complete paperwork. They may come and sometimes use a restroom. I've seen Suffolk County Police here watching a game as part of their shift, so their presence is welcome. They have been wonderful partners as well. We also have a great partnership with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. We have not yet completed it, but as you know, last year in the spring, we began an audit with them. Coming to test our systems. So the Sheriff's Office came in June last year. They'll be continuing to complete that audit the fall this year. You may recall that it's in the show, slideshow, but we had an audit done in 2017, which created an action plan. Some of those actions were public, some of those actions are not public, to tighten our safety and security practices. And in 2017, we began that work. We were beginning on a strong foundation anyway, so we've taken a lot of steps, a lot of improvement, and maybe most importantly of all is a really increased heightened awareness of how important safety and security is. It is a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful school district, everything's safe, but you have to remain vigilant all of the time. So some of this may be familiar, because some of the practices that are strong that we do continue to do. So we still do operate under these three basic premises of deter, detect, and delay. You will see as we go through how things are connected to deterring people or threats to the school district, from detecting them early or from delaying them if they do happen to get through our perimeter. So it is a topic under constant review. It is, in fact, if I shared meeting agendas with you, you would see safety and security. It is on all of our agendas. As I mentioned, we spend time investing in safety and security. We are really in a strong position to protect everyone in the school district while they're here. And just on a note I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to share everything that we're doing, because it makes sense. Some of these things are practices that we do that we don't want to put on public record. Planning and preparation. Professional development continues for the school district, the development of district-wide school safety plans that the Board of Education adopted over the summer initially, and then we finalized that adoption as the school year started. That is a public document, but it's important to know that each of the buildings have a building-level safety plan with key staff members. There are things called functional annexes. There are up to 14 different scenarios that are documented, detailed, that we train in, that describe different situations in individual buildings and what the response would be for those. All of our plans, the district level plans and the building-wide plans, are submitted and reviewed by New York State. They are shared with law enforcement. And we did, a number of years ago, we did hire a security consultant firm, Covert Operations. They have been great partners for us in all sorts of planning, preparation, design, emergency response in the school district. We do have this evening, we have a new lead consultant on the ground working with us, and he's here this evening. I'd like to introduce Mick Ackerman. He's sitting in the front row here. He's been here since day one of the school year, helping us with our drills, our safety plans, district-wide plans, and all other matters of safety and security. I mentioned the 2017 audit. We are still working off of that audit and some of those action plans. We are ahead of schedule, which I'm happy to share. All areas are reviewed in that audit. It's not on a slideshow, but last spring we took the time to take a closer look at some of those times in the school day where after school, athletic events, so we spent some time re-looking at those areas and providing training to see what more can we do to tighten those areas of the school day where the building's open, but it's not the regular school day. And we continue to work in that area. I mentioned our plans are conducted. We do conduct drills regularly, fire, evacuation, lockdown, and lockout. They aren't just done as a matter of routine. There are variables introduced. There are debriefings. I can say personally, walking through the buildings after a drill has happened and hearing the security team with administration talk about what went well, what could change, what they got to. So that's the kind of work that has to happen ongoing, and it is happening. And we also began last year the practice of conducting full evacuation drills in each of the buildings. So if there is an emergency, we know that we can get all the students moved to a safe place in a timely manner. Professional development's ongoing for all of us. FEMA training, just over the past month and a half, administration has had 2 full sessions of security training, 3 actually, including opening day training for all staff. We have central office administration going to FEMA training. We had a group of staff attend the red flag law, red flag legislation training session for that. So training's ongoing in the school district. As I said, it's not something we are going to be resting on our laurels over. Our security guards last year underwent cross-training so that they're familiar with each building and can work in all of the buildings. And like we had in the past, we will be having interactive student assemblies to further work with our students on what to expect and what some of our plans are. I won't read through all of those. Some of those are familiar. We do have a lot of security infrastructure features, bollards, burglar alarms, access control systems. I will say, under this idea of deter and detect, all of our buildings now have a double entry system, meaning you're buzzed in from the outside, you see a greeter, and then you're buzzed into the building. That's a really important feature. You know that every person that enters the school district now is identified, whether it's students with their scholarship cards, whether it's staff with their ID cards swiping in, or whether it's visitors checking in with the Raptor system with a license scan and getting a sticker to visit for the day. So that's something really happy to say was finalized, put in place last year. That continues right now. We've had some great work done on our video surveillance capacities with a state-of-the-art system for integrating the door access controls with our video surveillance system with building maps. We have mobile surveillance. We've increased over the last few years security guards, security vehicles. We have mobile video surveillance capacity now as well. We established a senior guard position. We've added fencing to the school district, and we have put in place over the summer a system for the PA system to go over the phone system as well. So the announcements can integrate with the phone system. So now all spaces with a phone will get that the PA announcement. Some projects that we have planned for 2019-20, certainly they're going to look familiar. We discussed these at the budget time, but additional video cameras and surveillance capacity. A lot of work, a lot of headway. I'm not going to say where and how or what's done, but a lot of work on the installation of ballistic security film in important places in the school district. Dedicated bus and emergency lanes at the high school, great safety feature along with the bollards. That's been a much safer part of the school day in the morning. You notice the visitors booth is out. We'll be working on protocols for using that. We're working on developing a plan for a centralized command center, or the day gates are actually up and in at all of the buildings now. Allows us to close the campus down if we need to. Interior bus cameras interior bus cameras, that project should be done shortly. And as I mentioned, the Sheriff's Office came at no cost as a partnership to conduct a security audit in June. They'll finish that this spring, and we'll be working on what are the results from that and what are some next steps for improvement for us. And I just put in that last bullet, you may have seen the news, but certainly cybersecurity is a safety matter as well for the school district, protecting our resources and data, and we continue to work on that as well. I mentioned monitoring, preparation, and prevention. We are, in all intensive purposes, we are always in a lockdown. The buildings are locked. The instructional spaces are locked. It's not where, if there is a reason to call a lockdown, we still do call a lockdown, but we are in that spot where all of our spaces and children are in a lockdown mode. We have an increased presence on the perimeter. We've made a focused effort to have more eyes outside with more frequency. Oh, no. Thank you, Mr. Arcuri. It's better. As I mentioned, the photo IDs and scanning into the school buildings, everyone is identified. Each building, one of the most important things as well in safety and security is really knowing and supporting those who need support prior to them harming themselves, thinking about harming others. So we really have building teams that regularly review students that are in need for emotional support and interventions. Our security team has grown in size over the last several years, majority of which are retired law enforcement, but all of which who are regularly trained and are doing a great job for us in the school district. I just want to make a note on monitoring and prevention. I think one really important thing that has happened in the school district over the last few years is really this idea of, if I really think somebody needs help, I'm going to reach out. And I know that if I reach out, that somebody's going to follow up on that, and they're going to see if that person needs help for whatever that reason is. And I can say with full confidence that there is a culture now where students come forth or faculty comes forth. The kids that maybe need additional help or somebody's worried about, they do come forth. When that happens at each of the buildings, there is a team that convenes immediately, mental health, administration, security. They consider whatever that one fact is in the context of the past or history or other data. They make a decision about what help might be needed. Sometimes that's law enforcement, sometimes it's not. Reaching out to the parents, they reach out to central office, and very, very quickly appropriate action steps are developed to help the person that was brought to our attention from any actions that would hurt themselves or others. So that's been a very comforting to know that students do come forward when they feel somebody needs help in the school district. An important part. Just a note on student support. I know last spring Mr. Meister did a full presentation. We revised the social and emotional learning brochure, established a mental health committee to look at services. They still meet twice a year for that, and really to be proactive in helping students with social and behavior issues, as that certainly is an area that we want to keep a close eye on. So this will be on our webpage posted, but the link to the programming brochure is there for the public who wants to see the presentation later, and last spring's presentation on SEL programming in the school district. This is also up on the webpage, just if we do have an emergency. There's some FAQs up there. How will parents and guardians and students be reunited? Designated locations, which will be shared at the time of the emergency. How is information going to be shared during an emergency? And some questions: should I pick up my child? What provisions are made for students with disabilities? We do have special plans and do focus on how do we react when there's emergency and evacuation that we have to work with students with special needs. So that's an update on safety and security. Really important topic, but one that's good to bring up and have a conversation about this time of the year every year for that.
Jerry, do we have a one-button lockdown system or no?
We do not have a one-button lockdown system.
Can any staff member initiate a lockdown?
Yes, any staff member can call and ask for a lockdown. Okay. Yes.
I just wanted to thank you and administration. I know this is your third year, but seeing the last 4 or 5 years, the transformation in the district with student safety and security has been very impressive, and looking forward to building on that throughout the next years. So thank you again, yourself and Glenn and his staff.
Yeah, thank you. Really, and I'm remiss if I don't thank the staff who have really bought into this idea, because it's easy to get, I don't want to say lulled in, it is a beautiful community. It's easy not to think we should pay attention to it, and everybody is, so thank everybody, so thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to commend as well the staff and Jerry, your leadership on it. You know, you can see just from the list of items, it's not just hard security. You guys are thinking across the board, you know, cybersecurity and all of that. So I think that's great, as well as at the daily living, you know, what happens in the schools with support for the kids and all that, that adds to it. I just had two quick questions. For the bus cameras, just thinking ahead, I know that we were talking a little bit about that, and I may have mentioned it in the past. Thinking ahead as technology advances, are we going to be entertaining perhaps down the road looking at bus cameras for drivers that are passing buses when the lights are red? I'm looking at perhaps making sure that the system that we're installing has the capacity to extend that into the system, so that maybe we can do that.
I think the answer is yes. We will be considering what the ramifications and what that process is. That is, just briefly, that is a partnership with the local municipality. So we would have to enter into an agreement with them for that. That would be a separate system, likely from the interior bus cameras.
Isn't that similar to like red light cameras where it's a third-party vendor?
And I know legislation's still pending on how that would all work out, the logistics of fining and all that, but, you know, if that's the case, then I guess that's
it is definitely something that we can consider as a school district, that kind of a partnership. And just as you mentioned, the interior bus camera video, the interior bus camera video is really going to be for following up where there are areas to follow up, and it's not a daily monitoring of the of the video. It's if there's an incident or some safety reason that we should be looking at that video, we would be doing that.
Okay. And the other, I was curious about the reported app. I know that, you know, we still have that in place, and we're getting feedback along the lines?
We do. If those who may not recall, the reported app is an anonymous reporting tool, and that anonymous reporting tool is used. I'm not going to say that it's used with great frequency, and that every report that's in Reported that is investigated thoroughly. And if actions need to be taken, they are taken. But I don't want to raise alarm that the Reported app has lots of going on. And sometimes what's put on there is not necessarily something for the Reported app, but yes, it is still active, and we still do monitor it. When there is a report filed on Reported app, it doesn't. Saturday, Sunday, everybody gets a text, hey, there's something on the Reported app. So one or all of us will take a look in and see what that is and see what the reaction needs to be.
Great, thank you.
Any questions? Oh, great. That, you have to wait at the end, sorry.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks. Next up is votes and resolutions. First up is the approval of minutes. August 7th, 2019. Absent was Mr. Perez and Mr. Smith. Can I get a motion? Rob, second. Tom, any questions? Okay to vote? All in favor? 5-0 abstained, 1. Okay, August 20th, 2019. Can I get a motion? Megan, second. Tom. Discussion or questions? Okay to vote? All in favor? I opposed?
Abstained.
Abstained, 4-0-2. September 9th, 2019. Do I have to get a motion on each of these, or can we just vote on each of them?
The last three.
Well, September 10th, Mr. Sheridan was absent, so
September 9th, okay, so it's, all
the
right.
9th and the 16th.
All right, can we do, let's do the 9th and 16th together. Get a motion. Megan, second. Henry, questions? Okay to vote? All in favor? 6-0. September 10th, 2019. Can I get a motion? Katie, second. Megan, any questions? Okay to vote? All in favor? 5-0 abstain. 1? Okay. Next up, approval of CPSE and CSE and 504 meeting summary. Memo dated September 12th, 2019. Can I get a motion? Henry, second Tom. Any discussion or questions? Okay to vote. All in favor? 6-0 approved. Approval of Treasurer's Report, July 2019. Motion? Katie, second Henry. Any discussion or questions?
I just have a question if you can get back to me in the future. I just wanted some clarification. I know that I was looking at the payment, what is this? On the payment bond, the interest seems to be on a regular basis. When you look at the payment of the EPC interest, it looks like it happens at different times, and I'm just wondering, is that due to a variable rate, or is it something different there?
Where are you saying that,
Oh,
if
I'm
you don't mind
sorry.
me asking?
It'll be on the general fund cash flow. So,
You have a page number?
What page number are you on, Henry?
what page is it?
No, it's
107 on our...
Okay,
on our
107.
thing, yeah. So really where I was trying to get to, Glenn, I don't need an answer right now.
The EPC interest, there are 3 different payments. 2 of them pertain to the 2004, 1 of them pertains to the 2015. So you're seeing 2 different energy performance contract payments being reflected inside of this cash flow.
Okay, so in that case, there's probably 2 different payments on 2 different loans. Okay. And I don't know if you can tell from this one, it looks like the interest, it looks like the principal went up on one of them. I don't know if that's the same one or if it's a drop, so I was just wondering.
The August is a longer period of time payment. There are more months involved inside of the August payment than there is inside of the November or the May payment. Remember, we are across a fiscal year, not a calendar year.
Okay.
So then we're capturing it at different times.
Okay. So, but they are consistent, right?
They
It's
are
not that
consistent
we're paying them out at different times, because that'll affect the overall, interest rate that we're paying out. Okay, thank you.
It's just the portion between interest and principal as each payment's made. Less interest is paid, more principal.
Sure, right, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay to vote? All in favor? 6-0 approved. Okay, next up.
I'm sorry.
Sorry?
Oh, okay.
We're good?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
All right, next up, Board of Education resolutions. Okay, take them as a block. 1920-098 through 1920-100. You get a motion? Rob, second. Henry.
Sorry,
Discussion
Mike,
or
real quick,
questions?
you did 098 to 100? Just the
Yes.
first 3? Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, yep, we're good.
Any questions? No? Okay to vote? All in favor? 6-0 approved. I'd like to take a moment to mention that one of those resolutions was the approval of the Girl Scout Gold Project. I have a nice letter here from Ms. Lindsay Cahill. If you'd like to come up and take a photo.
Do you need a pen? Like?
Come around.
They're going to come in forward, they're going to take a picture right in front.
She might actually do that.
Go in circles.
Thing. It's a lot of patches, yeah. Congratulations.
All right, next up is the curriculum instruction and assessment resolutions. Once again, if it's okay, we'll take them as a block. Number is 1920-101 through 1920-108. You get a motion? Tom?
I have a question actually on 102.
If we do the motion first, and then you can ask the
Okay,
question.
thanks.
All right,
Okay.
Tom, second, Rob. Any discussion or questions? Tom?
Thank you. So I did have a question around 1920-102, the Discovery Education contract. During the curriculum committee meeting this week, it was great to see the new platform that we're considering, and this resolution obviously covers some professional development. So my question was to Mr. Meinzer, I believe, would be in general, when staff is being developed, what is our thought process on rolling that out to each building, or how do we envision this being rolled out?
So as the initial trainings addresses most subject area teachers in most grade levels, the plan is to use our November 5th Superintendent's Conference Day format, where we have a free ability to work with all of our teachers and staff to provide them with the basic training and exposure to what the Discovery Education platform has to offer. The things that were shared at the Curriculum Development Committee, things along the lines of virtual field trips and video vignettes that are tied into the curriculum aligned with the New York State standards. So that would be an opportunity for all of the staff to get that initial exposure, an opportunity to experience and work with some of those strategies to be able to actually walk away with concrete takeaways of how to use those strategies and build those kinds of activities for students in their classrooms. It would not be something that we would provide to all of the teachers because certain teaching groups, that platform does not directly apply to them. So to make their time worthwhile, we have, as we have done in the past on that type of day, provided certain groups of teachers the opportunity to go to conferences and workshops that are typically offered by organizations that day for those groups that don't typically fit into the general structure of a classroom along the lines of, for example, physical education teachers. There's a conference that's offered that day that has specialized workshops and opportunities for our physical education teachers to really get state-of-the-art training on what's the latest and greatest available in a physical education setting, and similar opportunities for some of the other subject areas. But most of the staff in our K-12 curriculum areas, this is something that is definitely very relevant to them, and we look forward to being able to bring that to them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you for providing us the questions in advance. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask if Jerry could briefly explain 1920-101, such an exciting offering for K-12, and just wanted to hear more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. You may recall previously we approved a funding amount up to. So for this project, this is the contract with NASA to take the next steps moving forward, which is incredible. But this student space flight experiment program is going to involve hundreds of students across the school district. They will be. We've already had some professional development with somebody from NASA, Dr. Goldstein, working with 15 or 20 staff members on the process of building experiments. It's a little bit of a competition for the students. They're going to be creating experiments that the final selected project will be conducted in space, in the space station, at the same time that we're conducting it down here on Earth. So I know that Dr. Meyer has a lot planned. She has her partner, Ms. Waldbauer. They're trying to integrate the arts into it, get students writing about it, and really exciting, and look forward to the process. I know that even the school-to-community program in the school district, they'll be helping us out with assessing and judging some of those final experiments. And ultimately, 3 of those go to a NASA panel. They select one of those experiments to go up into space to be conducted by the astronauts in space. So really great opportunity to inspire students in the experimental design process, sort of that competitive nature of science, getting grants and opportunities and access to high-level machinery and opportunities to use for your experiments, and should be fantastic.
Great. Sounds amazing.
Exciting.
You know, I was talking to some of the 5th grade teachers during open house at Wading River, and I think this is open, is it from 5th grade through 12th, right?
I know it's all of 5th grade. There's a group of high school students and a group of, I believe, Alan, 8th grade, and a group of middle schoolers, so hundreds of students.
Well, one of the discussion items we were having about was just, how does a 5th grader compete with a 12th grader? And I guess some of the feedback that they had gotten, there have been other schools where 5th grades had won, was that sometimes keeping it simple is an experiment that the people that will be conducting the experiment in space want. So sometimes there's something to be said about, keeping a simple experiment that's going to prove something. And so 5th graders have a good shot just as much as a 12th grader or 11th
I think
grader.
you're right, yeah.
Any other questions? Henry, did you have a question?
No, I'm good
Okay.
with that group, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay to vote? All in favor? 6-0 approved. Next up, Human Resources Resolutions. There are two of them. We'll take them as a block, 1920-109 and 1920-110. Can I get a motion? Katie, second Tom. Any discussion or questions? Okay. Okay to vote? All in favor? 6-0 approved. Business and Operations Resolutions. There's quite a few here. Take them again as a block. That's okay. 1920-111 through 1920-121. Can I get a motion? Henry, second Katie. Any discussion or questions?
Yeah, I have a question on 1920-112. Obviously, the Wildcat Athletic Donation is very generous, but in the spirit of equality, is the district going to make sure that our other programs have access to that subscription as well?
Well, the Huddle?
Yeah.
What is Huddle? Does anybody know what Huddle is?
It's a film.
Oh, film. Okay, got it. Okay.
They record the game film and then they can utilize it to
Right.
study. But it's for the boys and girls, right? What was?
But that's
Yes,
for boys and girls soccer.
Soccer.
I'm talking about field hockey.
Oh.
You know, it seems to me, in order to be equitable,
Yeah.
you would think that the other, and this is a very, I'm not saying it's not
Yeah.
generous, it's very generous, obviously, but to me, it doesn't seem fair that some programs have access to that subscription and others don't. So in my eyes, if we're going to allow this to happen, then we should make sure that our other programs have access to that subscription as well.
Well, here's what we can do. I know football has used Huddle for
Yep.
forever. It's sort of
Yep.
live action sports after
Yep.
the fact tape analysis. I know that WAC does reach out sometimes to ask different sports what they might want, but we could certainly follow up with our athletic director of those other sports programs and ask if Huddle is something that they think would benefit.
Yeah, I mean, they might not be,
with their
but, you know,
programs.
just
Sure.
in the spirit of equality, just to make sure that everybody has an opportunity, that's all.
Mr. Poole, currently only football uses it.
That don't hold me to it, that I'm aware of. It's been Huddle's been a football tool in the school district and many districts. I haven't heard of it in soccer.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought we were still on that one. I had a question regarding 1920-119. This is
119.
119, this is for the change order associated with the relocation of the pole. Mr. Curie's smiling already. So my question basically was, there's an existing base. Is that base being removed, or are we going to abandon in place?
Removed and discarded and backfilled.
Okay, and the electrical company, Rollins, will restore the area in and around that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we'll be reusing the existing pole?
We are reusing the existing pole so that it will continue to match the existing poles inside of that area, but
Okay.
a new base is called out for as part of this project.
Okay, and have they looked at this particular change order and established that the existing pole is in adequate condition to be moved and relocated? Meaning they've looked at the job,
I'm
right?
going to say yes. I hope
so.
Okay, yeah, I would hope so,
They
too.
provided me the
Sometimes they
proposal.
go to move it, and then they see, oh, well, there's a deterioration of some kind, and...
The only way that would occur is if, as the removal of the pole takes place, if something unforeseen that they were not able to see without dismantling the pole, that actually shows.
Yeah, that's unforeseen.
Yes,
That's
but
acceptable,
they
sure.
were definitely out. We reviewed the site, reviewed the coverage area, and they were very confident that they're able to pull it back, use the existing pole, use the existing light fixture, and just install a new base.
Okay, and when they restore the area, are we going to have to restore grass in that area? Are they just going to reseed, or, what's...
We will do the seeding.
Do some of
It is
that?
anticipated to be a very, very small area, footprint of less than a 4-foot diameter circle, and they're basically going to put back the soil that they're taking out from the new base installation area into the existing area. So we
So we're
don't
using the same
anticipate
soil.
new fill to be needed, and
So when they're done, it'll look nice, not the way, I think it was Hink that was out there this morning working on that corner.
That isn't
and-
our project.
That's
thank you
not
for
our
bringing it up.
project,
That
correct?
has nothing to do with
Yeah, I
this
didn't
school
think it was.
district. That
Yeah.
is a town of Brookhaven traffic safety project.
Okay.
That is not the district, and we had no idea they were coming.
Right.
What, are they changing the light pole?
Well, they did some underground
Changing a
work
couple
there.
of poles there,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a question. It's funny how, I'm very, very happy that Section 11 is going to be using our field for a playoff
I saw that
event.
as well, yeah.
But it's interesting that they're not charging, we're not charging them, but it's costing us $500 for them to come use our field, which is kind of interesting to me.
And they charge people to attend.
And they charge people to
Yeah,
attend, exactly.
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 And maybe it's not, what section does do, though, is that they pay $800 to the school district for the event. So we should be getting $800 for what cost us $500 and $1,600 for what's costing us $1,500.
Okay, good.
So the
All
section
right.
does.
And what about
That's a flat fee,
concessions?
though. We can't go above, but it's $800.
Right. What about the concession stand? Can we utilize
You
that?
know, we've reached out to, or we will be reaching out to WAC as a fundraising opportunity for the section soccer thing.
So we can run the concession stand and
Yeah, so the Wildcat Athletic Club might have an opportunity to run the concession stand.
It's unfortunate that we couldn't do it like Islip did it a couple of years ago and have our team play on our home field for a.
Oh, I know.
Remember that?
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember you going over there on the bus with the kids.
yes, we had first student donated the buses, and a bunch of us rode the buses with the kids as chaperones to victory.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
hopefully this year we'll have home field advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Okay to vote? All in favor? All in favor? 6-0, approved. I would like to thank the Wildcat Athletic Club and the Wildcats Helping Arts and Music for their generous donations. Okay. Next up is personnel. So, let's see. So we're going to vote on all except items X27 and X28. So, can I get a motion to vote on personnel items excluding X27, X28?
Excluding, so I can vote for that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion?
Motion.
Tom, second. Katie. Any discussion or questions? Okay to vote. All in favor? 6-0 approved. And next up, we'll vote on items X27 and X28. Can I get a motion? Rob, second. Katie, any discussion or questions? Okay to vote. All in favor? 5 against, abstained?
Abstained.
1. Okay. And the reason Mr. Sharon is abstaining because his daughter is, what program is that
It's
she's?
when they have the middle school fundraisers or whatnot,
Right.
she could be yeah,
It's a great program, so.
thanks.
Okay, next up, communications. Janice, any communications? No. Okay. Additional comments from residents?
How you doing? I just had a quick question
State your
regarding...
name, sir, please.
Dan McGuire, Shoreham-Wading River resident, 3 kids in the district. I had a question regarding security. Within the buildings of the district, are all the doors, I assume all the doors have locks on it. I'm assuming that. But my question really comes to, if they all have locks on those doors, classroom doors I'm referring to, are they locked during the day? And if they're locked during the day, do all teachers have and staff members have the same key to all the doors in the building, just in case there is ever an intruder and they're stuck in the hallway or wherever they may be, or they need to access a closet for safety reasons? And the reason why I asked about it, if the doors are locked all day, because we all know if I take my keys out here and I have 5 keys on them and there's an active shooter in the building and I'm going to try to lock that door right now, I'm not getting to that door. So if you have that door locked already, and all you really have to do, especially when there's 20 kids standing behind you, is close that door to make sure that door is secure. And that goes hand in hand, is making sure all your doorknobs are keyed the same way, so all staff members have access to all closed rooms.
So I can answer the first part of that. Is
Okay.
The doors are typically closed throughout the day, so they're
Not
already,
closed,
they're
but I
already
mean
locked.
locked.
They're already locked, closed locked. So
Okay.
if you go through the school during the day, all the doors are closed and locked.
Okay.
The second portion, the keying, I would have to defer to Mr. Poole or Mr. Akira. I know they're working on keying. I'm not sure if it's, or I don't even know if you want to disclose that, but.
Well, I think you're asking mostly about, do we have protocols and procedures in place if there is a lockdown drill and somebody is in the hallway locked out of a space inside of the building, and do we drill for that and do we practice our protocols for that? The answer to that is yes. Do all staff have a master key for that would work, ubiquitous across all the rooms in the building? The answer to that question is no. They do not have
So
that.
I would then just encourage the Board of Ed to look into that, because if you're a teacher or a staff member and there's a lockdown, typical protocol, I assume, is if there's a lockdown and someone's then out there, you're shutting the door, so you're going to have adults get stuck in the hallway or kids get stuck in the hallway, and they may not have access to that door closest to them, if that makes sense.
I think in a
So it's definitely a
lockdown,
safety concern.
I think in a lockdown drill, I think the first step would be to clear the hall, to clear the halls, right?
It is, but you're supposed to close that door. I do lockdown drills because I'm in the school, but I can tell you, you close that door, and if there's no kids there that when you look at it, you don't see them, you don't open that door again if it's a lockdown, because you don't know who's on the other side of the door, because you're also supposed to cover the glass on that door. So there's definitely a safety protocol to make sure that your locks are keyed appropriately and all the teachers have access, because if the teacher's down the hallway and that one door does not have the proper lock, they have no chance.
My understanding is there's a procedure for people in hallways to take care of that situation. So your solution for that, I think, is a possible solution, but currently, and we can't really talk about that, but there is a procedure associated with people being left in the hallway. What happens to them?
They run to a bathroom, they run out the door. That's the only choice.
That's not what happens, but yeah, there's.
Depending on the policy of the district, correct. Depending on what the policy of the
So
district is.
we've tried to address that safety protocol, because
But
again, there are people in
regardless,
the
you understand
hallways.
what I'm saying. If you're stuck,
Sure.
if there's an adult stuck in the hallway, or if there's kids stuck in the hallway with an adult, and that adult is not near their room, and they're trying to get into another room or a closet, and that key doesn't work, there's no chance there. That's a real safety concern. I'm not saying that no one's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm just saying it's really.
Well, I
when
think
you look
what
at a
Mr.
security-
Perez is saying, there is a protocol for that. So I think that our safety consultant, along with the principals and administration, has that.
Okay, so if I go home and ask my children what the protocol is, they should know that then.
I would hope so.
Okay.
Well,
Just asking.
I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
The answer to the question is yes.
Okay.
One other thing, 100% clarification for you. We are in a state of lockdown every single minute of the academic day. We don't have classroom doors open. So then, just to not get confused, during a lockdown drill,
Right.
there is just the actual drill is called, but the classroom doors should always be, for all instructional spaces, always in a locked position.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, exactly.
That's why I wanted to clear that up for you. I wanted to be that
makes
crystal
sense. So if there is a
crystal clear.
lockdown, you should only have to close that door and not fumble for your keys to lock it.
You should not even
door's
have
already
to
closed.
close
It's already
the door,
closed
sir.
and locked.
The door's already closed?
The door is
Okay.
closed.
Yes.
I got you. So then the only question is, that I would ask you to think about is how the doors are set up so that people have access to those classrooms, like, just in case they're outside those classrooms and they can't gain access to them. That's it.
I think you also mentioned about the viewing window in the doors, and I
Yeah, when
think
you have a
we
view-
had a separate.
when
I
it's
think
a
there's a separate
lockdown, you're supposed to cover
interpretation by the authorities as far as not closing those.
He's stating the current New York State regulations tell us to put panels over the actual vision.
Really?
Vision
Yes.
panels,
I
yes.
thought they wanted to have a view inside the
The
classroom.
current. I'm just-
Some schools will use
Current.
a shade, some
It
schools will
depend-
use
that
a sheet of
is-
paper, but yes, that vision's supposed to be covered up.
That changed May of 2019. Just
just changed.
Yes, you wouldn't, yes, that is
Because
brand new.
we just replaced all the.
That's brand new. That's why I'm saying it to you. It's not something, if you went to the training prior to May of 2019, it was to keep the vision panels open so that first responders could actually see
right.
who is inside of those locked spaces. Out of the Parkland investigation, the Homeland Security protocols are to immediately cover them. Whether or not we have that in place, that's a part two, but to Mr. McGuire's point, that is brand-new guidelines. So that's, just want to clear that up.
All right, thank you.
And just one other follow-up piece, I'm not sure if you guys use it, but there's an app called there, 911, that 911 app that schools are using now. I'm not sure if the district's using it or not, but it might be a good idea.
We
to look
do.
into.
We have the RAVE app in place in the school district.
Okay.
That is an ongoing implementation. Certainly, having the RAVE app on your personal phone is a choice for somebody as well.
Right.
But we have partnered with and have implemented the RAVE app.
Okay. And lastly, the reason why I really came here tonight was to talk about this next subject or topic, was extra help in the elementary schools. It used to be a few years back, extra help used to be offered after school hours. So it allowed children in the elementary schools to go to extra help. What has happened in the last maybe year or two has been extra help is now only in the AM hours. Kids can't take buses to the extra help sessions to the elementary schools. You can take a bus, say if you're in band, and then go from band to extra help. But if you're just going into school for extra help in the elementary, you're not able to have your children go in if you're a working parent. So being that we're in Shoreham-Wading River, and we know it's a middle-class area for the most part, most parents, a majority of parents at least, I would say, work. So in a sense, what we're doing is, by not having something in place, we are offering extra help, but we're not utilizing it, because we're not allowing all our students to have, in the elementary level that is anyway, to have access to that extra help. So extra help in elementary school starts at 8:10, and they're not able to be dropped off into 8:10. So there's no way to get those kids into school for working parents.
You bring up a good point, but
What time is the early bus? The early bus? The early
Early
bus
bus is only for
yeah.
music.
Okay, got it.
So two working parents in my household. So the flip side of that would be to have after school with no buses. How does the child get home?
It's easy to get someone home after school.
Well, that's your opinion, but I mean,
It is my opinion,
yeah.
but my other piece is, it used to be offered extra help, and the Board of Ed changed that a couple of years ago, okay? Whatever an agreement they had, okay? And now it's before school. So I know that's a fact too. And because of that, my child's not able to go to extra help, okay? Along with other children. But I'm not just here bringing up the issue, I'm bringing up the issue and I also have a solution. So I think sometimes when you have an issue, it's good to bring up a solution, because I'm just going to sit here and complain about something. I'm going to give you a solution that's going to help all the kids in the district.
Okay.
So my solution would be, you have band in the morning, okay? Mr. Poole mentioned before we had 50 clubs, I think it was. The easy solution is to fill in a gap. And that gap may be to offer a club in the morning to all kids, so that the kids that are not able to get the extra help can go to that extra help, that club, and then that club will then flow right into the extra help. Therefore, you're utilizing your extra help, you're offering another club to the kids, and you're making everyone happy. That's my solution. And it's not an expensive solution, because you're talking about 2 days a week.
So there'd be there'd only be one bus run in the morning for kids, either they're coming for extra help or the club?
There would be one bus run, yeah. Because it would be the same time, because what time does band start? Band starts at...
7:50, I just dropped my
Right, so
son
you
off
can go
today.
from 7:50...
Will that be the case in both elementaries, though?
Well, the bus is at 7:20, but we never catch the bus, so I'm usually driving him 7:50.
And at the end of the day, we know, like for that club or whatever, all you're doing is paying a stipend, a small stipend. So and you're servicing how many more kids in this community because of that small stipend?
Well, it's not only the
Kids-
stipend, but it's finding the personnel to run the club.
Right, it's
Right.
going to be a stipend per your teacher's contract or your TA's contract, whatever it is. That's how you're going to get the adults there to do that club. It could be a gym club, whatever the district has set up. But for that little dollar amount, and you already have the buses running, it doesn't make sense why we wouldn't have it set up that way. To provide that extra service at such
Yeah, I don't know how that would
minimal cost.
affect the teacher's contract, or, I mean, I know we just did strategic planning, so maybe that's something that we could look at.
I could easily look that up. It's not a problem.
Okay, you can look it up, that's fine.
But it's just a solution. I'm here to talk about the kids and it benefits the kids. And obviously, many of us in this room are parents and we want the best for our kids.
Absolutely.
And we have great teachers. So why not give them more time with the teachers that are already there and utilize that time better? So please give it some thought, see if there's a solution for it.
Okay. I also think the implementation of the RTI block provides some during the day, some additional help for some of the students, right? It's when they get some of that additional,
Yeah.
so.
You're aware of the RTI block and how that's functioning currently? Yeah.
I'm aware of RTI, but I'm not aware of how they have an RTI block set.
Can we speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, Jerry or Alan, you talk about that?
Sure. We have there is a period in the school day for students that need extra support and extra resources for learning. It's called the RTI block, K through 5, but basically it's a period of no new learning for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, depending on which building it is. If you are a student that's in need of some specialized reading service or math intervention services, you may be pulled out during that period for small group targeted intervention, and that does leave the classroom teacher with a reduced class size, and they're able to target in small groups and one-on-one as well students that do need extra help. So that's definitely another opportunity for.
I appreciate that, I respect that, but RTI is typically data-driven. I just want someone to work with my child. I'm not into a data-driven program. I'm looking for someone who's going to work with my child.
Well, it's not data-driven. If you heard Mr. Poole, he said when kids are being pulled out, the other kids remaining in the classroom, which is a reduced number, have the opportunity to sit with the teacher and then go through things that they may be with.
RTI is data-driven. I'm just looking for regular typical extra help sessions that will be open to the whole community as a whole.
Okay.
It's really not asking for too much because that's what we get for kids.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Any other?
Hi, I'm Stacy Tingo. I'm speaking on behalf of WHAM right now. I had something that me and our board were talking about over the last year, and especially more so after attending some of the open houses. We see that there's a lot of bare wall space in some of the schools. So we were thinking of an idea about having an art student, putting it out as a community service-driven type of project where we would fund the paint, where an art student would do motivational messages on the walls of some of the schools, whether it be the elementary school in the bathroom, particularly saying like one kind word can change someone's entire day, like a picture, or like a mural, but have it, see if we could put it out to some of the high school students that are very artistically talented. Would we be able to do that, or would that be something that we would have to go to each school principal to ask?
Well, I would say we welcome the collaboration of WHAM. I would invite you to come in and have a conversation to get maybe a better sense of the idea and the where. We would definitely work with the building principal on wall space and what could be for that. But let's definitely have a meeting about that.
I have some pictures too, so I can show you that. And now I'm speaking on behalf of Stacy Tingo, parent. I see that you approved the field usage for November 2nd. Are we aware that there's an SAT being given here that day?
Yeah, it should not impact the.
Oh, okay. No, I just didn't know with people coming into the building, where is the test being administered and keeping athletes out so there's no disruption?
Should be okay?
Yeah.
That's no.
Yeah,
That's,
should not be an issue.
Okay, all right, just asking. One last question. Where are we at with the secondary levels with the psychological help?
Mr. Poole?
We have added, over the last 3 years, we've added 2 psychologists. We have a partnership with the North Shore Youth Council. We are looking for a replacement person for that extended day program. I will say this, that the mental health offerings of the school district is discussed in great detail at all of the budget meetings in the spring with our principals and our staff about do we need more mental health support in the school district. It's also a topic of the mental health committee, and just something that I asked all buildings every fall, and this fall no different. Do you have all of the mental health resources that you need to meet the needs of your students proactively and reactively? And the resounding answer was yes. So we have the appropriate staff. We are covering the needs that have been identified to us in the school district.
Okay, so I know that a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, or maybe it was a year and a half ago, we hired because I know both myself and there was many other parents that were coming to Board of Ed meetings talking about the mental health issues that were happening in the district. So we went ahead and I believe we hired someone that was potentially supposed to be used for the secondary levels. Am I correct?
When we added a school psychologist, not this year, the year before, there were 3 needs that needed to be addressed. In one of the elementary schools, the school psychologist was covering the CPSE process, the preschool process. So that chunk of the day was a time of the day that the students and the staff weren't getting psychologist services maybe 2 days a week or so. So there was definitely a gap there in that building. There also was, in speaking with the school psychologists, school counselors, social workers, nurses, building administration, there was a need at the secondary level for when things hit a critical mass, when something arose, that there was the need for a mental health worker, but when that need arose, they kind of put the brakes on some of the proactive measures that they were taking. So what we were able to do with adding an additional psychologist was cover the CPSE needs at the elementary level, and then provide support at the secondary level to support when those times arose at the secondary level where they needed more support and it was disrupting the regular program in place for students. And I have not been advised in any instance where any student in the school district is not getting the mental health or social services or anything that they need. And if that was the case, I'd be the first person to recommend hiring additional school psychologist.
Okay. I'm not saying that there is or isn't a need. It's just that you have one person covering over roughly 800 students. He also services a population that I don't know what the numbers are for there. So if there is someone that is in need during the day, how do the kids know who to go to? Because they don't know when this other floater is coming in or not. The kids mostly need it during the day.
Is it just this one person, or is it?
No, I'm not
does our guidance staff have,
I'm trying to understand I'm trying to understand where the need is, because when we do the research and the investigation during the budget process, and when I am reaching out to buildings, if there is an additional need for mental health resources in the building, a very specific question, and I'm hearing that all of our needs are covered. The current schedule is working for us. It's just, but I am really happy to learn and would be happy to hear very specifically about, is there additional need in the school district? Because if there is additional need in the school district and it's specific and I know what it is, we will definitely react and adjust to it. We have the same goal, which is the mental health and wellness of our students. Yeah.
That's the deep root to security issue is the mental health.
I agree.
So, all right.
Can you, excuse me, sir, you need to come to the podium. I'm sorry.
I have a question for you about the murals, but if you want to just...
Yeah, I'm still talking.
The reason for you to come to the podium is simply because it's been videotaped so that people at home can hear what you have to say.
I'm
That's
just
all.
reading here, says you can, participate in the discussion, so I thought it was...
Absolutely.
And you can, again, it's just so that people, when it gets videotaped, they know what the discussion's about, so that's all.
But just before you leave, Mrs. Tingo, I was just wanting to know, I love that idea. If while you're researching it and looking into the mural idea, if you could possibly include in your presentation or whatever you bring to the school, the maintenance of it, if there's some sort of painting or like a shellac or something that goes over it, if it's something that's painted directly onto the cinder block. So I've seen lots of pictures where schools have it directly on the cinder block and it looks beautiful, but I wonder, how does that get preserved? How long does that stay? We just did a tour of the high school, and our maintenance staff works very hard every summer to paint when necessary, wherever necessary, and it happens on a routine basis, I think more frequently than we realize. So I just don't want to impede that process or risk something that looks beautiful this year, then turning dingy you know, and
I mean,
not
it's
being
done on an
maintained.
interior wall, and just like that, I mean, that's probably been here for the turn of the century, so.
Yeah, but that's not
This is just really to
touchable.
ask if we
Yeah.
could go out. I don't know if any students are going to be accepting of it, so there may not be anybody. So it's just really to get the conversation and community service out there to see if anyone's willing to bite, so we can have an art student involved in something.
Yeah, it
So
sounds like a
why
great
not
idea.
collaborate with the student?
I think what Katie's saying is instead of on the wall,
I know what
can it be
she's
proud of the wall? So if they have to
Yeah.
paint, they could take it down,
Well,
paint.
that's just
Something
Somewhat,
like that.
yes, something
Yeah.
like that. It's just smaller.
Yeah, I know. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm officially up here now. Just a quick follow-up question, because we were talking about mental health, which just triggered my thoughts. New regulations came out this year regarding guidance counselors and how to service kids, and specifically mental health. Can the district share with us of how that impacted the services that students are receiving and what has changed? I think they came into effect, and correct me if I'm wrong, September
Just came out.
of this year.
We had a wonderful year-long process with our mental health team, led by Mr. Meinster, to review our entire K through 12 guidance plan in accordance with those state regulations. It took a lot of time, a lot of meetings. That is a very lengthy document about the program in schools K through 12, and it is on the district webpage. Alan, where is that on the webpage?
You can link to that directly off of the forms and documents right on the main page of the webpage. It's about 120, 130 pages long, articulates everything K-12 of what our plan is. But the regulations did not change exactly. It required us to articulate more clearly where the different services are being provided at different grade levels. So at the elementary levels, what those support services look like, what those programs are. They are all programs that actually we had already been compliant with prior to the new regulations going into effect. So the plan kind of incorporates them in and makes a more cohesive K-12 platform for where our services are provided. Our counselors in the secondary level, along with our psychologists and social workers, all support the programs of the school, and those are all articulated in that plan. At 120 pages, it would take me a little bit longer than I have here to kind of go through that, but if you have questions after looking at it, I'd be happy to address them with you.
Come on up.
Hi, my name is Kristen Savino, just parent tonight. I had a question regarding the cameras in the buses, and are they going to be on the mini buses as well, and are they going to be recording both audio and visual, or just visual?
So the entire fleet, I believe, and it's just visual, not audio.
Okay, and if there was ever an incident or something that came up, would parents be able to view that video as well, or just administration?
I guess it depends on the incident,
type of situation.
but the first steps would be whoever's performing the investigation, whether it be the principal or administration, they would obviously view the video first, and
Okay.
they have to contact you.
Okay.
Have we discussed looking at policy regarding that whole process and have something in place?
Yes, that actually, that should policy.
Probably the same policy,
That policy
yes.
comes to the policy committee.
Yeah, right, okay. So that's on the agenda at some point, or?
But that would be on a case-by-case basis.
I mean, I would think it's the same video surveillance as we have in the school, right? As
Yes.
far as the
Okay.
right to the
Yes.
parent to view it?
Yes, yep.
And is there any sort of, I don't know, I'm asking in general, recording of audio, if like bus matrons, or I have two special needs children, so that's why I'm asking in reference to the minibuses, if they have anything audio-wise, if there's any, obviously not like a physical issue, but if there's something else going on that we, obviously see in the news and as parents fear. I don't know if there's anything in place, period, or just in this district.
As far as the audio?
Yeah.
I don't believe audio is allowed, Mr. Arcuri.
That's why I wasn't sure. I didn't know if that was...
I just need to clarify two things for you.
Okay.
The first phase of installing cameras is only on large buses only.
Oh, okay.
We are still, I just want to, I want to bring clarification
Okay.
to that question. Number one. Number two, the thought is on the minibuses, the number of adults, the number of matrons that are usually riding along those buses, the questions raised, should there be cameras put on those buses? We are still in that phase, discussing that with our contracted transportation provider.
Okay, so they would put on the large buses first?
Yes.
And then?
And then
And
we
not
are
a time frame yet.
still considering The time frame for the large buses, they were supposed to be in September 23rd.
Okay.
They did not show up yesterday, received confirmation late today. They are beginning the installation process October 2nd, and it should be 3 days. As far as audio goes, there currently is not a system that they put on school buses for that audio. It's
Okay.
very, very hard to interpret
Sure, with privacy. Okay.
interpret the audio.
Okay.
If there are specific concerns related to a minibus, feel free to reach out to me. I will address, there are different ways that I could address those concerns.
Okay.
So please.
No concerns yet, just very fearful of the bus?
To
so
build,
just ask.
to build that comfort, though,
Okay.
reach out. I could share with you what the district, what our standard protocols are
Okay.
in order to give you some assurances as to what is already in place.
Okay.
In case something does arise for you,
Okay.
you would actually know. Feel free to reach
Okay.
out to my office.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I wanted to share personally, it's no longer being used, but we had the minibus at one point for my son, and the bus drivers seem to be extremely dedicated. The particular bus drivers that they use for First Student, they have, I'm sure every single one is different, but they've given me their cell phone numbers. They've allowed me to contact them directly. The matrons have done the same. They were in constant contact with me and gave me a lot of feedback, gave the principals feedback, and as well as the teachers who are bringing the students to the bus. And so that communication was a huge comfort.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to thank Glenn for the clarification. I was aware of it, though it was the
I didn't
entire
mean
fleet.
to-
No, that's fine.
I just
I'm
wanted
glad-
to provide
No,
accurate-
No, please. Any other questions? Discussion items? Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to end the public session and reconvene in executive to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the employment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation? Tom, second. Henry, all in favor? 6-0. Okay, great, thank you. Have a good night, everyone.